Hello, and welcome back to the channel. It's Dan, Nocturne Knives, and today we're going to be continuing my sharpening series. I'm going to be talking about burrs today. Before we get into that, we'll do a little pocket check. Also, we got the socks and sandals. Socks and sandal gang, drop a comment. Let me know where you're at. In pocket, we got the Koenig Arius. Love it. So, as I said, we're heading out to the shop right now. I'm going to be talking about burrs. The burr is one of the most important parts of sharpening. And hold up a second. Past me forgot about this, but before we get into things, please don't forget to go hit that like button. If you like sharpening content and knife content, go hit the subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. I got a quick question for you. Let me know down below what the last knife you sharpened was and how did it go. Did it get sharp? I'd love to know about it. And if you have other sharpening questions, go check out the rest of my sharpening series. I'll link it up there on the right. I have 2 videos out before this talking about grip and angle control. Hopefully those will help you out, and hope you enjoy the video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what a burr is, why the burr is important, how to form it, and then possibly most importantly, how to remove that burr. So first, today I'm going to be using this old slip joint of my dad's to demonstrate what I'm talking about. I need to sharpen this up for him. It's been getting a lot of use. It's well used, well loved. So the burr is a thin wire of metal that's going to fold over from the opposite side of the bevel that you're working on. So if I've got this knife, and we'll start off, we'll get our Sharpie on here. So if I've got this knife and I'm sharpening it on this side of the bevel, the burr is going to form here. I'll feel it on this side. I'm grinding on this side. I'll feel it on this side, opposite from the bevel that we're working. That's what we're looking at so far. So the burr is really important because it indicates when we've apexed the edge. When I say apex, I mean the very cutting edge right here. The very edge of the edge. What actually does the cutting, what separates whatever you're cutting, the apex of the edge. It indicates when we've reached that, when we have apexed the bevel. So apexing is really important because if we don't do it, then we're not actually connecting the 2 sides of the bevel. We're just creating a bevel on either side with a flat spot in the middle. You have to apex to actually form the union of the 2 bevels, which is going to make your cutting edge. So that's why the burr is important, because it indicates when we've apexed the edge. When you're sharpening, you're really not trying to form a burr, you're trying to apex the edge. The burr only indicates that apex when you've apexed it. So here's a really common mistake that people make, and this is going to often be why you're not getting things sharp when you're sharpening. So hopefully you can tell here, I started working on this bevel, but this new angle that I'm sharpening at is lower than the previous angle this was sharpened at. So you can see here, I'll zoom in a little bit more, I'm only hitting the shoulder of the bevel. I'm not getting down to the apex, and I'll insert microscope footage here that will make this easier to see. But you can see the old line of dark bevel and the new line of shiny bevel. So apexing is when you fully remove that old bevel and you get down to the actual edge. So that's what I'll do here, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, here you go. Here's what a fully apexed bevel is going to look like. Hopefully you can tell decently well what's going on. I'll bring up some microscope footage. So I fully apexed the edge, and I can now feel a burr on this side. So I know I've apexed on this side. Now we're going to switch, and we want to get a burr on the other side. And when I can get a burr on both sides, I know that I've joined the two bevels together, as opposed to having two separate bevels. I've joined them so they actually form a cutting edge. And now I can feel a burr here, so I know that I've apexed both sides, and I have a good consistent burr. So we've talked about what the burr is, how to form it. Now it's important to know how to check for a burr. So what it is, and I'll insert some pictures to make this more clear, it's that little tiny wire edge on this side. So if you have a decent burr formed, you can take your finger and run it down the edge, making contact with the bevel like this. And you can feel your fingerprint, your skin just snagging barely on that bevel. So that's one of the best ways to tell, is by feel. And when you can feel that burr all the way along the edge and it's nice and consistent, that's when you know you've apexed your edge well. And you can feel the difference. You go on the non-burr side and it feels really smooth. You come onto the burr side and you can feel that catch. You can also look for light glinting off the burr. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it on camera at all, but if you have a good light, you can see it bounce and reflect off the burr. No, you won't be able to see it here. But especially if you have a big fat burr, you can see it in the light. Another thing you can do is run your edge along a paper towel, burr side down, and you'll hear it. You'll hear it catching on the paper towel. And then sometimes you can take it off, and if your burr is big enough, it'll catch paper towel fibers. All right, we've got our edge where we want it, all the damage and stuff removed. So now I'll talk about how to remove the burr. So we formed the burr. We're on our finishing stone. In this case, I'm just using the one stone, 500. This is a 500 grit chapter glass. So when we get to burr removal time, we want to do some light strokes, maybe 5 or 6 per side. Just real light pressure, back and forth, at the same angle we've been sharpening at. And that's just going to start reducing the burr, flipping it from side to side, and weakening it. So we do this, and now we do a few less strokes, maybe 4, and we're getting our pressure lighter. For this final burr removal, I cleaned off the stone a little bit. Now we're doing light back and forth strokes. So right now we're just working on degrading and weakening the burr with real light strokes, switching on each one. All right, now we're going to do a series of edge leading passes to try and get rid of that burr completely. And the edge leading passes are better for knocking off the burr. All right, and now we're going to finish with edge trailing. And that's going to help refine the apex. Because with our edge leading strokes, it's good for knocking off the burr, but it's kind of smashing your apex into whatever's on your stone. So there's going to be some slurry and debris on your stone, and it's kind of smashing the apex into that. So it will slightly degrade the apex. So we finish with real light edge trailing strokes to bring back that apex. All right, and you'll know you deburred well if you can go straight from the stone to slicing paper, whatever that your paper of choice might be. Now I did decent. I didn't do an amazing job. This steel isn't loving to deburr. It's kind of wanting to hold on to its burr. So you can see it's doing okay, but it's a little bit catchy. So that's a sign, if you feel it catching on your paper like that, that's a sign you have some burr left over. So what we're going to do is switch out the stone for a strop. And before we go to the stropping, you'll always want to clean your blade really well. Get some rubbing alcohol. Make sure none of that grit or debris from your stone is contaminating your strop. Alright, so we got our blade nice and clean. Now I've got a 1 micron strop, or 1 micron diamond, loaded onto a leather strop. If you have any questions about stropping, go and watch. I have a video all about stropping. I'll put it right up there. But real easy, and at this point, a strop is a great next step after your stones to clean up your apex a little bit and remove any leftover micro burr. So we're just going to do light, very light strokes, just a little bit of stropping, because I want to keep this edge aggressive and toothy. So I don't want to overstrop and get rid of those teeth. Now you can feel it gliding through the paper. It's not wanting to catch anywhere. It sounds cleaner. Now up at the tip, it's grabbing just a little bit up there at the tip. So that's a sign there's a little bit of burr left at the tip. So I'm going to do a couple extra strokes up there. There we go. Yep. So that's sharp now. We've totally removed the burr. It feels, the edge feels really good. Feels nice and aggressive. Okay, so here we are left with a sharp knife. I will leave you with this. Remember that the burr is possibly the most important part of sharpening. Forming that burr, apexing the edge, is going to be essential to ending up with a sharp knife. And then the only way you're going to get to that edge is to then remove the burr that you formed. So focusing on burr formation and then burr removal is really the most important aspect of sharpening, and it's what most people get wrong when they're first learning. If your knives aren't getting sharp, it's because you either did not form a burr or apex the edge, or you did not remove that burr. It's almost certainly one of those two things why your edge is not getting sharp. So really, really focus on that. It's really important. Reduce the burr, deburr on your stone, and then finish off with a strop to make sure it's totally gone. That's how I like to do things, and I think that will get you the best results. And that is all for the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, go hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you like sharpening and knife-related content, it would really mean a lot to me. Comment down below. Let me know if you've had trouble sharpening. Let me know if this helps you. I would love to hear it. Love to hear your sharpening experiences. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.